Hare Krishna. We'll start with the invocation prayers. The invocation prayers are on the introduction page of Bhagavad Gita. Follow along. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. We welcome Monika's mother, Poonam Mataji. Welcome. And feel free to ask any and all questions, even though you are in the process of getting caught up on past recording. So don't hold yourself back on any inquiries that you may have. And quick announcement that how many of you have been receiving this message on the Zoom that we are not able to play the recordings? So many of us had demonstrated to Zoom, and I had multiple conversations with Zoom company to fix this glitch. So finally, I got a message from Zoom company yesterday that they have now finally identified the glitch, and in their next update, Zoom company is going to release an update which will fix this glitch. So I'll name some names here who are all instrumental in helping me with demonstrating to Zoom company. So it was Archana, then Divya, Gulshan, Malti, Preeti, Ritu, Raksha, Shivangi. All of them we helped, either offered to help or helped. And we demonstrated to Zoom company that here's a glitch. What do you want us to do? So hopefully in the next update, this will get resolved. So I thank all of you who helped or offered to help with this fixing the glitch. Thank you. So today we will cover just one topic, how karma works. The 3 verses in chapter 4, verses 16, 17, and 18, they are all essentially the verses on karma. So last class, we had a heavy conversation on demigod worship. If you still have a desire to worship demigods, I request you to please continue worshiping demigods. Just worship the demigods properly. Worshipping demigods properly means that you cannot offer bhoga to demigods. Rather, first offer bhoga to Krishna, and when it becomes prasad, offer that prasad to demigods. You cannot make 2 plates, that one for demigods and one for Krishna. No, it doesn't work that way. Bhoga has to be offered only to Krishna. Krishna is Bhoktaram. And then you offer the prasad to demigods, and demigods will actually be pleased when you offer Krishna Prasad to demigods. And on the altar, you cannot have demigods on the same altar as Krishna. So you have to keep them separate. And similar to last week's discussion on demigods, today what I will be speaking on karma topic is also very, very heavy discussion. We will soon read, Krishna says that no one can understand how karma works except Krishna. Therefore, Krishna himself says, don't try to understand karma because our brains do not have the capacity to understand karma. And Krishna further says that just understand what Krishna wants us to understand about karma. We'll discuss all those today. So what I will be speaking is also concentrated and in summary form from hundreds and thousands of lectures. Therefore, is obviously very, very heavy discussion. Understand that I will be explaining in brief the essence of how karma works and not get into direct verses for all these points. Therefore, I again request all of you to ask lots of questions. I will try to answer what I have heard from previous acharyas and what I have understood. Use this as an opportunity to make inquiries with humility. So we have learned the humble way to make inquiries is to ask, how do I understand so and so point from our discussion of Bhagavad Gita 4.4 verse, how Arjuna has taught us how to inquire in a humble manner. Rather than arrogantly asking, give me the verse so that I can understand myself. No, it is not possible. Because Krishna himself says, don't try to understand karma because our brains are not built. Our brains do not have the capacity to understand the full karma. So in chapter 4, Krishna will continue the discussion on karma yoga from where he left off the karma yoga discussion in chapter 3. Because few of you have joined partway through and some of you are still in the process of getting caught up on the past recordings, I will quickly catch you up on chapter 3 to connect the dots to where Krishna left off in chapter 3, the Karma Yoga discussion, and where Krishna will reconnect in chapter 4 from verse number 16 onwards. In chapter 4, verse number 16, that Karma Yoga discussion will continue. So I'm going to connect the dots between chapter 3 and chapter 4 for all of us. So chapter 3, section 1 was verses 1 to 9, renunciation of work or work in devotion. So Krishna is saying that Karma Yoga is better than Jnana Yoga when Arjuna poses the question at the start of chapter 3 that should I fight or should I renounce and go to the forest? So Krishna says, no, Karma Yoga is the better option, and he gives various reasons. Why Arjuna is asking this question is because in chapter 2, verse number 49, Arjuna is confused that when Krishna uses the word buddhi yoga and uses the word avaram karma, that Arjuna misunderstands that buddhi is superior to avaram karma. First, he thinks avaram karma is fighting war, is avaram means abominable. And second misunderstanding is Arjuna thinks buddhi yoga to be Jnana yoga. And on the yoga ladder, Jnana yoga is higher than karma yoga. So Krishna is calling karma kanda as abominable compared to nishkam karma yoga and bhakti yoga, while Arjuna was thinking fighting is abominable as compared to jnana. And Arjuna also incorrectly equates buddhi to be jnana, while Krishna is using buddhi yoga to be bhakti yoga. And all these confusion from 2.49 led Arjuna to inquire at the start of chapter 3 that should I fight or should I renounce? Krishna gives 3 reasons why renunciation or inactivity is not to be done by Arjuna. First, inactivity is not natural. Inactivity will not lead to purification. Soul can never be inactive. Then second reason is mithyachar, meaning artificially picking up a sannyasi dress will disrupt the social order, because just by adopting the external garb of a sannyasi will mislead the self and others. And the third reason Krishna gives is one will not be able to maintain one's body. So work must be done for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Otherwise, work will cause bondage. Then in section 2 of chapter 3, verses 10 to 16, Krishna does a comparison between karma kanda and karma yoga. That if you are not qualified for karma yoga, then come down to practice karma kanda. The principle of yajna is described in this section. So here in this section 2 of chapter 3, basically Krishna does a comparison. Krishna teaches by contrasting karma yoga and karma kanda. So first Krishna says, do yajna, then you will stay free from karmic bondage. And then Krishna says that you satisfy demigods and demigods will satisfy you and you will live happily. So why demigods is there is because Krishna is explaining karma kanda. Karma kanda is essentially demigod worship. And Krishna says if you don't follow this process of yajna, then one will live in vain, because yajna and karma are born together. So you have to do your material duties and spiritual duties side by side. In section 3 of chapter 3, Krishna explains that perform prescribed work with detachment to set an example. On the yoga ladder, Jnana Yoga is higher than Karma Yoga. So Krishna says if you are qualified for the higher Jnana Yoga, still come down to Karma Yoga level to set an example, set an accessible example for others to follow, because people will not understand that Arjuna is renouncing to fight because of higher principle. Krishna says, no, people will not understand. People don't know these principles. They will actually laugh at Arjuna. That people will think that Arjuna is running away from his duty. So Krishna is stating to Arjuna that work or activity does not cause bondage. Rather, one's internal mentality causes bondage. If one is detached, then one will not be bound. When one does his duty while being detached, then one sets a good example for others to follow. And Krishna does explain the differences between Karma Kanda and Karma Yoga in 3.25 to 3.29. Krishna again continues the comparison between Karma Kanda and Karma Yoga, that Karma Kanda causes bondage and Karma Yoga does not cause bondage. The contrast Krishna does is that those who are Vidwan and Asakta, means learned and detached, they follow Karma Yoga, versus those who are avidwan and sakta, meaning those who are ignorant and attached, they follow karma kanda. Therefore, the conclusion is for Arjuna to act with detachment, to fight the war, to set an example for others to see, an accessible example for others, so that others can also practice spiritual life. And then in chapter 3, verses 30 to 35, Krishna does give a description of how Karma Yoga elevates. Krishna says, the results of Karma Yoga has to be offered to Krishna because he is the object of Karma Yoga. One should act according to his own nature. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and Arjuna trying to act like a sannyasi is not going to work. And Krishna explains that what can repression accomplish? Means you all have the Kshatriya nature. You cannot repress your Kshatriya nature. You have to act according to your Kshatriya nature and dovetail your Kshatriya nature of fighting in service of Krishna. And we have to reject our anarthas. We have to dovetail our varna nature and we have to reject our anarthas. So we have to act according to our varna. So this 3.30 to 35 is where Krishna left off the Karma Yoga discussion. And from chapter 4, verse 16 onwards, he will again continue the Karma Yoga discussion. In between these verses, so in chapter 3, verses 35 onwards, Arjuna asked a question about lust and Krishna answered. And then at the start of chapter 4, there was this other discussion about the history of how spiritual knowledge comes down in parampara. And now from 4.16 onwards, Krishna will continue from where he left off in 3.35. And again, the same thing will happen towards the start of chapter 5, that Arjuna will again make an inquiry, then Krishna will answer, and then again Krishna will continue Karma Yoga discussion in chapter 5. So on our Yoga Ladder class, which will be part of middle of chapter 6, we'll connect all these dots and it will become crystal clear. So today, we'll be discussing chapter 4, section 3, verses 16 to 24. Title is Karma Yoga as the Dharma. We'll only cover the 3 verses, 16, 17, 18 from this section 3. So Karma Yoga culminates into Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, Krishna will explain how to practice this Karma Yoga, because Karma Yoga will free one from the bondage. Everybody with me so far? I have done a lot of talking before we start reading the verses.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So to connect the dots, we will first read 3.30 to 35 translations only, and then we will come to chapter 4. Dhara, chapter 3, verses 30 to 35 translations.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Text 30. Therefore, O Arjun, surrendering all your works unto me, with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. Text 31. Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow this teaching faithfully, without envy, become free from the bondage of fruitive actions. Text 32. But those who, out of envy, disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled, and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. Text 33. Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? Text 34. These are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion, because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. Text 35. It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than another's duty perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duties, for to follow another's path is dangerous. Hare Krishna.
So, chapter 3, verses 30 to 35 was the Karma Yoga discussion. And now, chapter 4, verse number 16 onwards, the Karma Yoga discussion continues. Abhishek Prabhu, chapter 4, verses 16 and 17 translations.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Verse 16. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. Text 17. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is.
I have undivided attention. There's a super heavy discussion on karma. In 4.16 and 17, Krishna starts by first giving the terms to understand, and then Krishna continues the discussion on karma. We already read, Krishna says, even the intelligent do not understand what is karma. He clearly says the intricacies of karma is very difficult to understand, meaning Krishna is saying how karma works is very difficult to understand. Even the wise do not know what is karma and what is akarma. So here Krishna is going to explain all of this for us. So Krishna says, if you understand what Krishna is trying to make us understand in these three verses about karma, then you will be liberated from all misfortune. So Krishna is saying this is not easy knowledge to understand. Even the wise get bewildered. But if you understand, you will become free from bondage. So in the entire creation, only Krishna knows how karma works, no one else. Therefore, Krishna is saying, don't try to understand karma, because it is not possible for us to understand karma. Our brains are not built to understand karma. Therefore, Krishna says in 4.17 that even the wise do not understand karma. Simultaneously, Krishna says what you should understand is three things, which he has explained in 4.16 and 17. The three things to understand that Krishna is wanting us to understand about karma are: first, what is karma? Second, what is vikarma? And third, what is akarma? Krishna says to Arjuna, if you understand these three things, what is karma, what is vikarma, what is akarma, then you will be free from bondage. Because in the entire creation, only Krishna knows how karma works. And I will explain all this as we progress. Now, why it is difficult to understand karma is because there are many dimensions of how karma works. And from the scriptures, we know only very tiny pinch of those dimensions. Plus, our tiny brains are not built to understand the entire concept of karma. If you try to understand karma, you are bound to fail. If you try to end karma by trying to exhaust your karma, you are bound to fail. Because karma is designed as an endless loop. I will soon show you an image of this endless loop of karma. Therefore, instead of trying to exhaust your karma so as to end your karma, it is not possible to end your karma. What you have to do is you have to come to the level of akarma by dovetailing your day-to-day activities as Krishna conscious activities. Then it becomes akarma. From the start of our Bhagavad Gita study, I have described many examples of how to dovetail your entire 24-hour day into Krishna conscious activities. And this discussion will continue as we continue our Bhagavad Gita discussion on how to dovetail our day-to-day activities to make it a karma. Then the karma question doesn't even come into play. So as is described in Nectar of Devotion, the solution to end karma are only two solutions. First is you do akarma. Akarma means to do devotional service. Akarma does not mean not doing any activity. We'll soon understand all these terms and will coming up in our discussion today. So the two ways to end your karma, first is do akarma. Akarma means to do devotional service. And or the second option is, Krishna explained in Bhagavad Gita 18.66, to surrender unto Krishna. So to surrender to Krishna or you surrender to Krishna's representative means surrender to spiritual master. So these are the only two ways to end the cycle of karma. After the Kurukshetra war, even Yudhishthir, who is Dharmaraj, was bewildered as to what is his duty. Yudhishthir said that he will renounce everything and he will go to forest for penance. So sages and Bhima responded to Yudhishthir that if going to forest will liberate anyone, then all the animals should be liberated souls. So why all this discussion? Because even the intelligent, even Yudhishthir who is Dharmaraj, even the intelligent do not understand how karma works. So I am paraphrasing a long discussion in brief that grandfather Bhishma Dev said that one has to act according to Lord's plan. This is there in Srimad Bhagavatam in one of Srila Prabhupada's purport. So this is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, the Bhishma Dev's prayers and Bhishma Dev's teachings while Bhishma Dev was lying on the bed of arrows towards the end of the Mahabharata war. And he is about to quit his body. These are his teachings at that time, and I am paraphrasing and summarizing in brief. So Bhishma Dev says, one has to act according to what the Lord wants. But no one knows what the Lord's plan is. Therefore, we have to go to scriptures to know Lord's plan. Well, but the scriptures also have so many things. Therefore, Krishna says, to understand how karma works, understand these three things. What is karma? What is vikarma? And what is akarma? Everybody with me? I've done a lot of talking and I still have a lot of heavy talking to do. Any questions, comments, realizations so far?
No, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I was not able to initially follow this. You said the argument that we are not able to understand karma, so and Krishna is saying that we should understand what is
Ask your
karma.
question without setting a base.
I'm not clear why you are saying that we are not supposed to understand karma.
It's coming up. I'll explain. What we cannot understand is coming up with an example very soon, in a minute or so.
Okay.
All right. So Krishna says the working of karma is very difficult to understand, is incomprehensible. But essentially, you understand three things. And I will try to explain how karma works in very simple terms. So the terms to understand first are, what is karma? Karma means actions which bring good reactions, actions which are prescribed by scriptures. Second, what is vikarma? Vikarma are actions that bring bad reactions, actions which are against scriptures. Some examples are stealing or killing animals for tongue's taste. These are vikarma. And third is, what is akarma? So akarma is not inaction. Rather, akarma is action within the material world that brings no reaction. So karma, we just discussed that karma generally brings good reaction. Vikarma brings bad reaction. And akarma brings no reaction, neither good nor bad, even while working in the material world. So akarma does not mean you are sitting idle. No. We have discussed this in Mithyachar 3.6 verse, that even if somebody takes up a sannyasi dress artificially, goes to forest, he is still living with 6 wives, the senses and the mind, and he is still accumulating karma. We'll discuss this 4.18 today. So why you cannot sit idle? Why akarma does not mean sitting idle? Because soul is always active. Soul cannot sit idle even for a moment. So akarma brings neither good nor bad reaction while doing your day-to-day activity in the material world. Means you have dovetailed your day-to-day activity, and akarma means doing devotional service. So Krishna is saying which action will result in which reaction. And when that reaction will materialize is very complex to understand for all of us. And in the entire creation, no one knows this except Krishna. So this is the crux of this karma. I'll repeat this statement and should answer Abhishek's question with this statement and the next example that I'm about to give. I'll repeat this statement. Krishna is saying, which action will result in which reaction, and when that reaction will materialize is very complex to understand, and no one in the entire creation except Krishna knows this. But essentially, Krishna says, understand three things. What is karma? Means actions that bring good results, actions that are prescribed by scriptures. Second, understand what is vikarma. Vikarma is actions that bring bad reactions, actions which are against scriptures. And third is understand what is akarma. Akarma means to do devotional service, means dovetail your day-to-day activities in such a way that it becomes akarma, it becomes devotional service. When you understand these three things, what is karma, what is vikarma, what is akarma, then you will be liberated. Parth and Pratyush Prabhu, hold on your question. I will come back to you. So I'll give you an example to understand this. That all of us right now do an exact same karma, do the exact same activity at the exact same time, which has an exact same reaction, although this all is theoretical to have an exact same reaction. But for our example, assume that right now at the same time, we do an exact same activity in the exact same proportion, which has the exact same reaction, good or bad. For one of us, this reaction can materialize now. For second of us, this reaction can materialize in next life. For third of us, or this reaction can materialize few lives down the line, say 10 lives down, and on and on. So this point, that when this reaction will materialize, plus this one-on-one link, that which karma leads to which reaction, Krishna says, no one can know this in the entire creation except Krishna. So I'm not sure if you have done this, but I have stood in front of a mirror many times, multiple times, and said to myself, oh, what bad karma did I do to deserve so and so reaction? Therefore, do not do karma, because karma has reaction. I try to dovetail my day-to-day activities as akarma. Therefore, you will keep hearing my punchline that you have heard from day one. My punchline is, what is the verse for this? That whatever I hear, whatever I see, instead of trying to act by myself, I try to link it to Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam verses and act according to scriptures. This is Shastra Chakshu, to see with the eyes of knowledge. We have discussed this in chapter 1. So I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations so far. understand I still have a lot of talking to do. We'll start with Abhishek Prabhu. Does that answer your inquiry? Abhishek Prabhu? Pratyush and Path Prabhus, you had some inquiry?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this is Pratyush.
Yep.
I had a question regarding akarma. Akarma, you said, was not inaction. It basically means action which brings no results. So neither good results nor bad results.
Correct.
And you linked akarma to devotional service.
Correct.
However, I'm just a bit curious. Isn't doing devotional service going to give us good results or karma, or should it fall under akarma?
Devotional service does not give you good or bad results. No, devotional service is neither good nor bad. You get spiritual results, which means akarma. You get purified and you get qualified to go back home to Godhead. Matish Prabhu.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Rest of you, any questions, comments, realizations so far? Matan Prabhu.
Does good karma and bad karma cancel each other out?
Yeah, we have discussed this at the start of our Bhagavad Gita, that good karma and bad karma do not cancel each other out. Therefore, we have discussed that good karma is bad than bad karma. Why? Bad karma, of course, you will have to come back to suffer. It's of course is bad. But good karma is worse than bad karma because you will have to come back to the material world to enjoy the good karma. So look at all these rich people in the world, whether it be Ambani from India or whether it be Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos from here in North America, or there are many. They all had some good karma in the past because of which they have so much opulences. But look what they are doing now. They are literally doing vikarma. So good karma is actually bad than bad karma. Matan Prabhu and everybody.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, many people think that they think that they are doing a good thing, that is good for them. So that's wrong.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. So you all understand, and whosoever asks you, you make them understand. And very important point Matan Prabhu raised. Many people think, oh, I did so and so bad karma, so I will do some charity or I will do some good and it will offset. No, it does not offset. Whatever bad you did, you anyway have to come back to suffer. And whatever good you are doing, you anyway have to come back to the material world to exhaust that good karma also. So rather, if you have to end your karma, do devotional service. That's the only way to end. And the other way to end your karma is to surrender to Krishna or Krishna's representative. Abhishek Prabhu, did your question got answered? Ankit Prabhu?
Hi,
Yes,
Prabhuji. Yeah, I had a question. So, doing devotional service is considered a karma, but in the material world, when you do your activities every day, if you do it with detachment, that would be considered a karma.
So it's an upcoming discussion that when you do material world duties with detachment, that is Nishkam Karma Yoga. Nishkam Karma Yoga, you are very close. It's like you are at the doorstep of Bhakti Yoga or doorstep of devotional service. So it's easier from Nishkam Karma Yoga to go to Bhakti Yoga because you are just at the doorstep. But just detachment itself is very good, but that is not Bhakti Yoga. It's not devotional service. It still is Nishkam Karma Yoga. But you are at the doorstep. You just have to do it for the satisfaction of the Lord. Then it becomes devotional service. So even your day-to-day worldly duties, you can dovetail for the satisfaction of the Lord. We have discussed examples from the start, and we'll continue to discuss examples. So I've given examples. Say, for example, you wake up. Instead of waking up at 4:30 in the morning, set your alarm at 4:34, which is a spiritual master verse, and you memorize or recite this verse. Tadvidi paripatena, pariprashnena sevaya. Upadeshanti te jnanam jnanina tatvadarshana. Or if you wake up at 5:30 in the morning, set your alarm at 5:29, which is again a key memorization verse. Bhoktaram yajna tapasvam, sarvaloke maheshwaram, swadram sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shantim rajati. So what are you doing? You are trying to remember Krishna. Bhakti yoga means to remember Krishna. While you are taking shower, what are you doing? Wasting your time. Memorize verses. I have given you so many verses to memorize so far, up to chapter 4. Memorize verses and your shower becomes bhakti yoga. Just few examples from what I have given of the so many examples. Ankit, Prabhu, and everybody, does that answer?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Very good. Everybody on the same page? Tara?
Prabhuji, when someone actually is needing help right in front of you, then how can you, like, helping them becomes good karma?
Sorry, repeat your question. What in front of? I lost you.
Sorry, just a second.
Your voice is not clear.
Prabhuji, what I want to ask is, when someone is actually needing help right in front of you, and if you end up helping them, does that become your good karma?
Yeah, you are correct. So if somebody needs help, you help them, definitely becomes your good karma. So to make it a karma, so somebody needs help, don't become hard-hearted with this karma discussion that no, I am not going to help you because it is going to become good karma and I will have to come back to suffer in this material world to exhaust that good karma. No, don't become that hard-hearted like that. No, help whosoever needs help, and I'll give you an example, the proper way of help. And then by that help, you have created a relationship with that person and take the next step of taking them to the soul level, means helping them at the soul level. And that way, you have taken your initial good karma to the next level of becoming akarma. I'll give you two examples.
Yeah.
So, beggar, if you give Lakshmi or if you give ordinary food to beggar, you are accumulating good karma. You will have to come back to exhaust that good karma. It does not help you at all. So what you have to do is, if you have this inclination to help a beggar, make your home as a temple. Offer bhoga to Gopinath at your home temple. Make it prasad and take fruit which you can carry as uncut fruit, like apple or orange, something you can carry as uncut. So you offer at your home temple, carry that uncut fruit and offer prasad to the beggar. By offering prasad to the beggar, you are helping the beggar at the soul level because he's getting prasad. Plus, you are helping yourself by not accumulating any good karma. No, you are doing spiritual activity. You are doing akarma. Another example is, say somebody falls down or there's a fracture or something in the middle of nowhere, and you help them get up and take them to the hospital. This, of course, is pious activity. But now by helping a stranger, you have created a close, trusting relation. So at that time, don't speak philosophy, because that time he needs that physical help to heal. Yes, help him. Don't become hard-hearted. Help him. But once he is healed, then you take the next step of introducing Bhagavad Gita, introducing soul, introducing Krishna, and spirituality. Use that trust and the relation to the next level to make it akarma. Tara and everybody.
Yes, Prabhuji, I understand that, but sometimes you don't see them again.
Yeah, then you do it like you offer it to Gopinath. That Gopinath, I just helped him because he is a soul. He is your parts and parcel. So I'm just helping you. You please take care of this person. So you are not getting any credit for yourself. You are passing it on to Gopinath.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay, Abhishek Prabhu has a question in the chat that if we help someone thinking ourselves as practicing devotees and they are engaged in dealing with us, even if we are unable to speak of devotional activity directly, is it akarma? So understand this, it's not a black and white answer. You have given a hypothetical inquiry. Can be either be very specific, or if you cannot be specific now, you can connect with me offline. So what I explained to Dhara's inquiry is what you have to follow. That if you are simply helping somebody which is not related to spirituality, by itself, it does not become a karma. That is a pious activity, but you can turn it into a karma by what I just described about Dhara's inquiry. Abhishek Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I heard from a devotee that, like, if as practicing devotee we are, even if we are just taking help of someone, or if we are helping someone, uh, it is seen that the other person is either helping a devotee or he is just
Okay,
engaged.
so you have heard it correctly, and let me clarify. So if you are getting help from an completely materialistic person for your devotional activity, that becomes a karma for the materialistic person. But if you are taking help from a materialistic person for your personal thing, that does not become a karma for the materialistic person. And I'll give you the example, my own example. So many years back, this is 15 plus years back, that I used to generally come to the temple once a month. A complete materialistic person. Just once a month, I used to come. At that time, it so happened that my spiritual master, now my spiritual master, his guest Vaisheshikata Sadhikari, he had been to the Toronto temple at that time, and they all were going on book distribution. I have no clue about Bhagavad Gita. I have no clue about book distribution, anything. So one of the devotee came to ask me, Prabhu, you have a car. We all are going on book distribution. Can you drop us at this location because we are short of devotees with cars? I said, okay, I will drop you. So when I said, okay, if I drop you, how are you going to come back? They said, well, we don't have anything. I said, okay, you know what? I will also bring you back. I will stay with you. Okay. So that my driving devotees and bringing them back became a karma, or became devotional service for me. Not only that, what the devotee did was, they paired me with my spiritual master and my spiritual master's wife to do book distribution. And all I was doing was carrying the bag of my spiritual master, although I don't know who he was at that time. That became a direct service to a pure devotee. That becomes a karma. Not if you ask, if the same devotee had asked me, oh, I have to go for my personal work, can you drop me? And if I dropped him, that is not a karma. That is just a material task that I'm doing. So it depends on what you are engaging the material person in. Abhishek Prabhu?
Your example is clear. I just want to extend this discussion to another principle which we have heard is like a devotee tries to um, dovetail all his activities as a devotional service. So then this distinction of a material activity or a spiritual activity doesn't come. Or like, am I wrong here?
So it's not a black and white answer. It still depends on what. So I actually already answered this. So if that devotee who asked me to drive them for book distribution, that is devotional activity. It became a karma for me. But if that same devotee asked me, can you drop me at my workplace or can you drop me at my home, even though he may be fully Krishna conscious? So it's not a black and white answer. Yes, I am serving a devotee. Depends on the level of the devotion of that devotee. If I am driving a pure devotee, yes, it becomes a karma. If I am driving a devotee, even if it is for his personal work and he say 10% devotee, yeah, then that component of that becomes a karma, not 100%.
Thank you. That makes sense. Thank you.
Pratyush and Parth Prabhus.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this is Partha. My question is, it is clear from the discussion that whatever balance, if any balance is held on account of our good karma, then we have to again come and neutralize the good karma, isn't it?
You are correct.
So, how do we know what is our balance, whether it is in credit or debit or it is balance?
That's exactly what Krishna is saying. No one can know. Therefore, Krishna says, don't try to understand. So, as I continue to discuss further, Path Prabhu, this will get answered. If it doesn't get answered, you can please ask towards the end of the class.
Okay.
Okay, let me continue. So, I still have a lot of talking to do, and some of the questions will get answered. So, let me continue this discussion. So, we all have almost infinite reactions sitting in our big karma bucket. Now, what is this big karma bucket I'm talking about? So, the big karma bucket is hanging behind our back, and assume the big karma bucket has red and green M&M chocolates. I'm using the chocolates as an analogy to understand. So green mean good reactions and red chocolate means bad reaction. So our big karma bucket hanging at the back of our back has infinite of these red and green M&M chocolates. So these are all the reactions from all our activities in this life as well as all of the past lives. So Krishna puts a hand in my big karma bucket and picks up a scoop of red and green M&Ms and places them in a small cup. These scoop that Krishna has picked up, those red and green M&Ms in a small cup become my current life. Meaning, I am destined to go through these miseries and happiness circumstances. Circumstances is the key word here. I am destined to go through these miseries and happiness circumstances. Meaning, I am bound to go through the red and green, meaning the misery and happiness circumstances. Meaning these circumstances will come in front of me. What I do at those circumstances is still my free will. We'll continue that discussion about free will again. Now here's a challenge. I'm adding another layer. Now these red and green M&M chocolates is easy to identify. If you have red and green M&M chocolates in your hand, it's easy to identify. But actually, in our karma bucket, it is red and green water. It's very difficult to distinguish the red and green water, exactly what Path Prabhu was asking us. So Krishna puts a scoop in my big karma bucket, picks up a scoop which is a mix of red and green water, puts it in a small cup, and that becomes my current life. Krishna says, no one can understand which karma will result in which reaction. And from that big bucket, which scoop or which red and green M&M chocolates or the water, which red and which green water Krishna picks up. Krishna says no one in the entire creation except Krishna knows this. So Krishna says, don't worry about trying to find this out, because it is only Krishna who knows this. Simultaneously, Krishna says, you should know what is karma, what is vikarma, and what is akarma. So the pandemic, the COVID pandemic that happened a couple years back, the past karma of everyone got manifested in different degrees almost at the same time. So to learn from the COVID pandemic situation is that one should not do bad karma, at least on a go-forward basis, so that the bad reaction does not get accumulated in the big karma bucket. So as we go through these circumstances based on the red and green M&M circumstances, meaning the misery and happiness circumstances, in the human form of life, we continue to generate more good or bad karma depending on how we lived in those circumstances that were already destined for us. Therefore, I stated earlier that karma is designed as an endless loop. Soon that visual for the endless loop is coming up. I will explain. Therefore, what Path Prabhu asked, how do I know? Well, you don't know. Therefore, Krishna says, try to do karma, means do good deeds as your starting point so that you can come to akarma. Yes, of course, if you can do akarma all the time, by all means do akarma. So for you all from this point on, start doing karma and come to the point of akarma as soon as you can, so that at least on a go-forward basis, there are no red M&M or no red water in your big karma bucket. Now, killing animals to satisfy tongue's taste is an example of bad karma or vikarma. Whether you are directly or indirectly involved in killing animals, cooking animals, distribution and selling killed animals, eating animals, or doing administrative tasks in an office that kills and sells meat, all are examples of vikarma, because Krishna is the seed-giving father for all souls. So I did not make this up. I will bring up on screen Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.37, and this line Prabhupada has deliberately left in the purport in italics. So this is given by Manu. Manu is the creator of all the rules and regulations for humans to live. Nishan Prabhu, from the screen, can you please read the line which is in italics, right where my cursor is.
Hare Krishna.
A little louder.
He who gives permission, he who kills the animal, he who sells the slaughtered animal, he who cooks the animal, he who administers distribution of the foodstuff, and at last he who eats such cooked animal food are all murderers, and all of them are liable to be punished by the law of nature.
Right.
Hare Krishna.
So whether you are directly involved in killing animals or indirectly involved, you are murderers and you will be killed by this animal. So last class, Parth Prabhu had asked this question about how is Krishna sanctioning bad karma. I will explain with what we just read and that example, and we'll get answered. So for bad karma that I have already done in the past, for which the bad reaction is sitting in the big karma bucket or in my small cup of this life, and I'm waiting for the bad reaction to manifest, one can do devotional service and that karma can be washed off. So how karma sits, I have a slide on the screen. So karma sits in various stages. So on the screen, we have a person hanging on the tree branch. So he's being bitten by bees. So that is immediate manifested karma. The mouse may come and bite him. So that is going to manifest. The elephant trying to break through the trunk and make him fall is again something that is manifesting or about to manifest. And when he falls down in the pit, that is karma that is coming in the future. And you have Krishna side by side. So you can do devotional service and you can get release from all karma, whether it is manifested or whether it is about to manifest or whether it is going to be in the future. All past, present, and future karma gets written off when you do devotional service. So the effect of devotional service is like frying up seeds and sowing them in a ground. So question for you all, what will happen when you sow fried seeds in the ground? Somebody?
Prabhuji, they will not grow.
Very good. So that's exactly what happens with the karma, that when you do devotional service, your karma gets fried up and there is no reaction. So Srila Prabhupada has explained in lecture that if you get a small cut in Srimati Radharani's kitchen while doing services, what this means is that there was some major red M&M misery circumstance going to happen. The event is destined. I cannot avoid it. You cannot change the destined event. But by doing devotional service, Srimati Radharani takes care of that major negative incident by a simple cut that you put on a bandage and you continue on. So few devotees from our various classes have had such minor cuts while doing services in Srimati Radharani's kitchen. What that means is that there some major negative karma got written off by a simple cut on a finger. They put on a band-aid and they continue doing devotional services. Similarly, Pure devotional service fries up all current and past good as well as bad karma. Why good karma also gets fried up? We already discussed, because good karma is also bad. What? Why? Yes. Why is good karma bad? Because you will have to come back to this material world to exhaust the good karma. Therefore, good karma is also bad. Therefore, dovetail your day-to-day activities in Krishna consciousness. That way it will become akarma, and thus you don't have to come back to this material world. You are only acting on Krishna's behalf, whether in this material world or whether in the spiritual world or in hell. There is no reaction. So doing pure devotional service and or surrender to Krishna are the only ways to end your karma. So if some Babaji, especially from India, if some Babaji or some pseudo spiritualist tells you to do so and so fasting, to do so and so austerity, to give so and so charity to end your karma, it is not possible to end your karma the way this Babaji may describe to you. You run very far away from that Babaji, from that pseudo spiritualist. It just so happens that your bad karma exhausted, but you may incorrectly think that because you did that austerity, what the pseudo spiritualist or that Babaji asked you to do is why your karma ended. No, your karma does not end by some pseudo spiritualist ending it for you. It's not possible. Doing devotional service and or surrender to Krishna are the only ways to end your karma. So committing sin either on the strength of chanting the holy name or on the strength of doing devotional service is among the greatest of offenses. So be very careful. Now apply this law of karma very, very harshly for yourself. Meaning, if something bad happens to you, beat yourself up 100 times that why I did that bad karma in the past, so that at least on a go forward basis, I do not do bad karma again. So that there won't be such bad reaction again. But for others, absolutely do not bring up the topic of karma. For others, we have to discuss what is my dharma, how can I help you? Instead of focusing on all these intricacies of karma, focus on what is my dharma and focus on akarma, because our brains do not have the capacity to understand karma. Krishna has clearly stated that it is very difficult for you to understand how karma works, because when bad karma manifests, I don't know what I have done in the past that has resulted in this bad reaction right now. I'm hoping this answered Path Prabhu's inquiry just few minutes ago. I will come back to Path Prabhu shortly. Let me continue. Now, Vedic culture is not destiny centered. Vedic culture is duty centered. All of us have particular duty to perform. Therefore, to Dhara's inquiry, I said, no, help that person. Even if you don't see that person right now, help that person and pass the good credit to Krishna or to your spiritual master when you have a living spiritual master. So Vedic culture is not destiny-centered. Vedic culture is duty-centered. All of us have a particular duty to do. Destiny, what I described that Krishna gives you in the red and green M&M or red and green water in a small cup, is your destiny. Destiny is like a weather forecast that none of us can change. Either it's going to be snow or sunny. But what we do is up to us. I can go out in the snow without any protection and I will get frozen, or I can go out in the snow with protection, thus avoid any damage. So destiny determines what happens to us, meaning those red and green M&Ms determine the circumstances that come in front of us. Destiny does not determine how we respond in those circumstances. Destiny does not determine our actions. Situations that we encounter in our life are determined by our destiny. Actions we choose in those circumstances are up to us using our free will. If we understand that karma is like a compass, which is meant to prompt us towards the right actions, rather than getting caught in the karmic calculations, we focus on right actions. That's why Krishna says, understand what is karma, meaning that which bring good reaction so that you can do karma, and understand what is vikarma, that bring bad reaction so that you can stop doing bad reactions. And then, of course, if you can come to akarma, that's the best. The action of devotional service that dovetail your day-to-day activity so that there is no good reaction, no bad reaction. So understand the basic principle of karma. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that the basic principle of karma is that our actions have consequences. Therefore, we should choose our actions wisely. The purpose of karma is not to punish. Rather, the purpose of karma is reformation, to help us reorient ourselves so that we become directed and devoted to Krishna. Everybody with me? Questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, a clarification that were in Vedic time there were yagyas which like removed karma or give pious credits, like for
Not possible.
putreshti yagya kind of
No,
things.
so that is material. Yes, you can do yagya to get a child. Yes, that is possible. But to remove your karma, that is not possible. Parth Pratyush Prabhus.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So you basically said that destiny is like the weather forecast, that it might be sunny or snowy. So for example, and the way we respond to it is our karma. So just to give an example, because I want a clarification, if for example it's snowing outside and we have two options, either to stay in or to go out, and if someone actually goes out and just by chance an icicle hanging from a building just comes and hurts that person, so is that destiny, like was that predestined, or was that the consequences of his own karma?
It's karma.
It's karma. Okay.
So Pratyush Prabhu, the way you asked the question, you should get caught up on the previous recordings. There is a discussion in the previous recording about how to ask question. Basically, you have to drop off the background information. And you will hear in this recording, you should spend some time to get caught up. Arjuna has taught us from the questions, not just the content, but how to ask. The subtle things Arjuna has taught us a lot. Why we keep on going, talking and talking and talking, by providing background information is because I am attached at my own body, that I like to hear my own voice more and more. What we have to learn from Arjuna is to ask your question in 16 words or less. I'm not going to be very strict on 16 words. Basically, you drop off the background information. So just as Pratyush Prabhu right now repeated what I first repeated about destiny and everything. No, just ask your question. What exactly is your question? Your question was, what if the icicle falls? Well, it only took less than 16 words. So Pratyush Prabhu and everybody, not just Pratyush Prabhu, everybody who are in the process of getting caught up, please get caught up on the past recording. There is a lot of valuable information in there, and I'm only giving you less than bare minimum lectures to listen to. Everybody can do that.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Let me continue this discussion. What I was discussing about the karma. That just as you don't expect a physically fractured person to lift anything, similarly, we cannot expect an emotionally wounded person to frisk away the wound and move on. While they are wounded, we cannot minimize the wound just by saying that everything is Krishna's mercy. Because if somebody is wounded or fractured, and if you say, oh, this is Krishna's mercy on you, the first thing that person will respond is that right now you are not Krishna's mercy on me right now. You go away. I need someone who can understand me, not someone who lectures me. So when bad things happen to a person, we are supposed to be there with that person to help them deal with that bad thing. To think that anyone deserves to suffer is the beginning of impersonalism. Devotees feels that no one should suffer. If they have some bad karma, well, that is between them and Krishna. We have to see what is my dharma. How best can I help that person? That's why in the Dhara's inquiry, I said, no, help that person. Don't be hard-hearted with this karma discussion. We should first and foremost be an instrument of Krishna's love. Then we can be an instrument of Krishna's wisdom. Therefore, I gave the answer to Dhara's inquiry that first help that person who needs help. You have built a trusting relation. Later on, you can talk about philosophy. Right now, if the person is fractured or something, he needs to be taken to a hospital and you run a truckload of philosophy on him, well, you're going to injure him even more. So example, Srila Prabhupada first served the hippies before telling them the philosophy that you are not this body, you are soul. And then all those hippies heard Srila Prabhupada. So without understanding what emotional situation the person is in, if we run a truckload of philosophy on them, well, that will injure the person all the more. I'll give you an example that a young devotee left the body. His family were just blasting Krishna. And the brahmachari who was hearing from the parents, the brahmachari simply heard without saying anything about philosophy. So during time of emotional healing, if you do philosophical lecturing, it is violence. If we think that we can philosophically lecture people out of their emotions, then we are misrepresenting Krishna and we will actually make people go away from Krishna. When people are hurt, we are meant to help them heal their hurt, not lecture that how God is good. I'll give you another example that has actually happened, that many people have left the spiritual path because of the insensitivity exhibited by the spiritual preachers. So an actual example had happened that there was some natural calamity in a village in India, and some devotees went to that village and gave a talk on karma. That this is all because of your bad karma. Therefore, this natural calamity has happened. So you all get up and frisk away this bad karma. Well, those people were terribly suffering. The next day, a Christian missionary group came to that same village. They gave them food, shelter, clothing, etc. because everything was destroyed in that entire village. And these insensitive preachers gave a talk on karma. Well, the result was that 97% of that villagers converted to Christianity because of the devotees' lecture that their suffering was on past karma. So we have to be very careful with this karma, that we don't bring karma topic for others. No, for yourself, apply the law of karma very, very harshly. Beat yourself up 100 times with a shoe physically. That why did I do that bad karma in the past? So that at least on a go forward basis, I do not do the bad karma again. So there's a question posted by Chaitanya Prabhu in the chat that Bhagavad Gita 8.5 says, Antakale chamam evam smaran mukta kalevaram, that if someone remembers Krishna at the time of quitting the body and attains Krishna's abode, what will happen to the remaining accumulated karma from his previous lives? So I described that the only way to end karma is that you do devotional service or you surrender to Krishna. Means this person or this devotee remembered Krishna at the moment of death, then Krishna removes all the past bad karma. Krishna says this in 18.66, Mokshe Shyami Masucha, that do not worry, I will remove all the bad sins, good and bad sins for you. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I have a question for you all. When bad karma manifests, what is the default reaction? Everybody try to answer quickly. We are a little behind.
And I think the reaction would be, why me? Why is it happening to me?
Very good. Why me? Okay. Rest of you, quickly. What is your default reaction? Quickly.
I would say the same. Why does it happen to me?
Okay.
Maybe some frustration.
Yeah, frustration on whom?
Like on God, maybe.
Okay, very good. So Padma Kumar Prabhu says, blame the other person. Very good. I was looking for this answer. Everybody quickly answer. What is, when bad karma manifests, what is the default reaction? So all of you have answered correctly so far. Everybody quickly answer. Yes, no. Have you anybody have had bad reaction? Those of you who have not answered, have you never had bad reaction?
Realizing why it happened.
Okay. What is your default reaction?
Blaming Krishna sometimes.
Okay, very good. All right. Quickly.
Yeah, I would also think that the world is unfair, because many cases I would be like, I didn't deserve this.
Very good. I did not deserve this. Very good. Okay. I have on screen. So the image you have on the screen, that karma does not spare anyone, that on top of a pillar, on a balancing balancing board. Two people are standing on two corners. The board is held in the middle on top of a hill. So one is holding a gun, one is holding a pencil. Who is killing who? Who is hurting who? Everybody quickly answer. Who is hurting who?
Both will be hurt.
Okay. Deepa?
No one is hurting each other.
Really? Okay. So one person is trying to shoot the other person who's holding a pencil. So Padma Kumar Prabhu says left is hurting the right. Okay. Okay. What will happen when this person shoots this person? What will happen?
Both will get hurt.
Both will get hurt. Very good. So my question still stands. Who is hurting who?
Let's put it on the.
Somebody quickly.
So the left is hurting the right, and once he performs that karma, he'll get the result and he will die as well because the board will flip on the left.
Okay, very good. Dara?
I was going to say the same thing. The gunman is going to hurt himself.
Okay, very good. So, very good. Understand that when bad karma manifests, yes, I have to become angry. But become angry on whom? Becoming angry is good. But becoming angry on whom is the key point. Become angry on your own mind and senses. So this person shooting is actually hurting himself because he will also fall down. So how karma works is it does not spare anyone. So do not become angry on the other person. So the person holding the pencil may become angry on the person shooting him. Well, this person holding the pencil has done some bad karma in the past. Therefore, this person is shooting him. So I'll explain this in a moment. That do not become angry on the other person hurting me for my own bad karma, because the other person is just an instrument to manifest my own bad karma. Rather, become angry on my own mind and senses so that at least on a go forward basis, you do not do the bad karma. So we read earlier from 1.7.37 that if you are directly or indirectly involved in killing an animal, or even if you work in an office that is distributing or selling the animal, understand that the animal has the karmic credit to kill you in future. So on the screen you have one looks like a human, but he's also animal. He's killing, say, another like a cow or some other animal for his tongue's taste. So Path Prabhu had asked this question at our last class, that how is Krishna sanctioning all these bad things? So all this mass killing that happens, all these terrorists that kill ordinary people. So what has happened if you step back? In the past life, the terrorist or that mass shooter was an animal, and he was killed either by this one individual or a group of individuals. They were either involved in cooking, selling, or distribution of the meat when this animal was killed. So this animal in the past life was killed. Now in this current life, this animal has the karmic credit to kill the person who killed him in the past life. If this animal in the current life is a mass shooter, he has the karmic credit to kill other people. If he exercises his karmic credit, well, then he is continuing his cycle of birth and death. But if this animal of the past life, in the current life, he is the mass shooter, Before he becomes the mass shooter, he meets a pure devotee and understands from scriptures to forgive, and he forgives others. Then this animal of the past life, who is the mass shooter in the current life, ends his cycle of birth and death. Parth Prabhu, does that answer your previous inquiry and everybody on the same page?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, yes, it is now clear. Actually, we need to show our compassion or that adjustability. What I will do, it is like that.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, so all of you from this point on, do karma at least, stop doing vikarma for sure, and very soon come to the point of akarma. Okay. So if all of you thought that the discussion we have had so far was heavy, did you all find the discussion so far was heavy?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Prabhu.
Hold your thought. Verse number 18 is actually the real heavy discussion that we're going to have right now. Yes. So for this verse number 4.18, Arjuna will go on to say to Krishna that Krishna, you are talking in riddles. Therefore, I request all of you to have undivided attention. I request all of you to drop your pen and pencil. Take notes later from the class recording. Listen what I am about to explain to you for verse number 4.18 and ask a lot of questions, and you all try to explain back to me what you understood. Drop your pen and pencil and paper. Drop everything, simply focus on listening. Because if you thought the conversation up to now was heavy, well, actually what I am about to speak is even heavier than what I have spoken so far. Ritu, can you please read 4.18 translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I have to open it's closed. 4.18. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So the literal meaning of the words in this verse can be confusing. This verse is tongue twister and a brain twister. If you actually read the Sanskrit of 4.18, karmani akarma ya pashyad, akarmani sa karma ye. What? Karmani akarmani comes again and again. So one who sees inaction in action and one who sees action in inaction, such a person is intelligent. To understand inaction in action and action in inaction, first you should understand the words karma and akarma. So these words karma and akarma have multiple meanings. First, I will explain the multiple meanings of these words karma and akarma, and then we will go back to this 4.18 verse. Karma can have four meanings. First is action of any kind, meaning any work. Generally, people say, oh, this is my karma to do. Second meaning of karma is reaction to work performed. Example, somebody will say, oh, I am suffering because of my karma. So he is actually referring to the reaction when he's saying karma. Therefore, the second meaning of karma is reaction of the work performed. Third meaning of the karma is the system of action and reaction that nobody can escape the law of karma. The law of karma is also known as karma. And the fourth meaning of karma can refer to one of the three karmas that we said: karma, vikarma, or akarma. Similarly, akarma has two meanings, can have two meanings. First meaning of akarma is inaction, that you are sitting idle, not doing anything. And the second meaning of akarma is action that produces no reaction. Now question becomes, how can action not produce a reaction? The answer is, when you do any activity, any action on your own behalf, that produces a reaction. But when you do activity or action on behalf of an authority, for example, how Arjuna killed the warriors on the other side on behalf of Krishna, Krishna is the supreme judge, then there is no reaction. Arjuna single-handedly killed majority of the warriors on the other side. Arjuna got zero reaction. Another example is, say, a soldier, he kills enemy on the battlefield. He's not punished. That soldier may actually get a medal because he is acting on behalf of the government. But if that soldier comes back home, has a fight with a neighbor and ends up killing the neighbor, well, that soldier will get punished, will be sent to jail. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada has said many places, as well as in the lecture for 3.9 verse, that work must be performed for the satisfaction of Vishnu, otherwise it is going to cause bondage. So now coming back to 4.18 verse. So the first part says, 4.18, to see inaction, inaction means inaction or akarma here is not inactivity, but inaction or akarma means no karmic reaction, meaning the second meaning of akarma. So I gave you meanings of akarma. So the second meaning of akarma means action that produces no reaction. That's what is referred to here. Inaction. The akarma. Inaction means the second meaning, that akarma, action that produces no reaction. And karmanya means activity, means external activity you are doing, refers to the first meaning of karma. So I give you the four meanings of karma. The first meaning of karma is action of any kind. Meaning, if you translate inaction in action, to see that in doing external activity, there is no karmic reaction. So this is the first part of 4.18 verse. Inaction, in action. So if you correlate from the meanings of karma and akarma, the second meaning of akarma refers to the inaction part. That action produces no reaction. And the word action is the first meaning of karma, means activity. So this first part of 4.18, which says inaction, inaction, is the example that Arjuna's fighting will lead to no karmic reaction because Arjuna is acting on behalf of the supreme judge, Krishna. Arjuna is doing the activity, which is the first definition of karma, that any activity, but there is no reaction because Arjuna is doing the activity on behalf of the supreme judge, Lord Shri Krishna. So this is the first part of 4.18, inaction in action, is basically devotional service, is basically akarma. The second part of 4.18 says action in inaction, meaning to see that there is reaction even when there is no external activity. So the word akarmani means person is not doing any activity, refers to the first meaning of akarma. So from the two meanings of akarma, first meaning of akarma is inaction, inactivity. And karma meaning is the second meaning of reaction. Like from the four meanings of karma is in the second part of 4.18 is the second meaning of karma, reaction. So Krishna says there is reaction even when there is no external activity. An example, Krishna has explained this in 3.6, that one who has externally given up activity, has taken up sannyasi dress artificially and is sitting in forest doing nothing. He's acting like a meditator externally, but internally he is meditating on the sense objects. Then that person is getting into karmic bondage because of internal contemplation. So the motivation is not to renounce, but his motivation is to enjoy. Therefore, fruitative activity is at the mental level, which will lead to action at the material level, leading to bondage. So instead of renouncing work, one has to renounce the enjoying mentality. Basically, the essence of the verse is to go beyond externals, go beyond the superficials, look deeper and look within. So the second part of 4.18 verse is referring to the mithyachar that we discussed in mithyachar that we discussed in 3.6. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations. Was that super heavy conversation? And I request somebody to please explain, then it will determine whether you understood or not understood. Silence, I got silence. Either explain or ask a question, please. Ankit Prabhu.
Yeah, so it was very heavy, but I had a question. If there is inaction, it can be either akarma or karma. So what would determine in which category it falls?
Determines whether you are doing it for the pleasure of Krishna or not.
Okay.
So if you are doing anything for yourself, you are going to get a reaction, good or bad. But if you dovetail your 24-hour day in devotional service, then it is for the pleasure of Krishna. It's akarma, meaning you are not having any reaction. Ankit Prabhu?
Yeah, but what if you have an opportunity to do something on behalf of Krishna and you don't do it? Will that be considered akarma or karma?
You will have a negative reaction for it.
Okay.
So Srila Prabhupada describes in chapter 13, verses 8 to 12, the definition of non-violence. Generally, non-violence, anybody will say not to hurt anybody. But Prabhupada gives an elevated definition of non-violence, that if you have the ability to preach or to spread spirituality to somebody and you don't do it, that is actually violence, because you are not helping the other person end the cycle of birth and death. Ankit Prabhu?
Yeah, that's clear. Thank you.
Very good. Somebody, I request somebody to please explain 4.18 to me. Or ask a question. Everybody. I got silence. I request all of you to please ask a question. If you want me to explain again, I will explain again.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please explain it again.
All right. Monica, Mohit.
Yeah, can you explain the second part again?
Okay. Okay, Tushar Prabhu is unable to unmute. Tushar Prabhu, you can please write in the chat whatever you have. Deepa?
Prabhuji, can you explain the first part again, please?
Okay, let me explain both parts again. Have undivided attention. Take notes from the recording. So I explained to you that karma can have 4 meanings. First is action of any kind. Second meaning is reaction of the work performed. Third meaning of karma is the system of action and reaction. And the fourth meaning of karma is one of the 3 karmas that we discussed, which is karma, vikarma, and akarma. Akarma can have 2 meanings. One is inaction, meaning no activity, sitting idle. And the second meaning of akarma is doing activity that does not produce any reaction. So 4.18, the first part says to see inaction in action, means inaction or akarma here is not inactivity, but inaction or akarma means no karmic reaction, meaning the second meaning of the word akarma, that you are doing some activity that does not produce any reaction. And the karma, meaning the action part in the word inaction in action, that there is external activity, refers to the first meaning of karma, that action of any kind. 2 meanings, to see that in doing external activity, there is no karmic reaction. This is the first part of 4.18. Inaction, inaction. It says if you correlate from the meanings of the karma and akarma, is the second meaning of akarma, that action that does not produce reaction. That's the meaning of the word inaction or akarma. And the word action in the phrase inaction in action refers to the first meaning of karma, means activity of any kind. Thus, if you translate, it becomes to see in doing external activity, there is no karmic reaction. So this is the first part of 4.18, which says inaction in action, which is example is Arjuna killed warriors on the other side. So Arjuna was doing external activity, but he was doing it on behalf of the Supreme Judge Krishna. So Arjuna in doing activity, which is the first definition of karma from the 4 definitions, that activity of any kind, there is no reaction. With no reaction is the second definition of a karma, because Arjuna is doing the activity on behalf of Supreme Judge, Lord Shri Krishna. So this is the first part of 4.18 is basically devotional service and akarma. Everybody clear on the first part? Then I'll explain the second part.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So second part of 4.18 says action in inaction, means to see that there is action even when there is no external activity. So akarmani means person is not doing any external activity. This refers to the first meaning of akarma, means inactivity, no action. And karma, the meaning of the karma refers to reaction, means the second meaning of karma from the 4 meanings of karma. So Krishna says that there is reaction even when there is no external activity. An example, Krishna has explained this in 3.6, that one who has externally given up activity and has artificially become a sannyasi by putting on an orange dress, and is sitting in a forest acting like a meditator externally, but internally he is meditating on the sense objects, that person is actually generating a reaction. That person is creating karmic reaction because of his internal contemplation. Because his motivation is not to renounce, he is continuing to wanting to enjoy. Therefore, the fruitative activity at the mental level will lead to action at the material level. And this second part is basically mithyachar, which we have discussed in 3.6. Everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhuji. Now I'm able to unmute myself. I would just like to say what I wanted to say. Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what I understood from this verse is like, I'll just give in my example. My dad is farmer, so I've seen him most of the times devotional services he is doing in his farm only. He is continuously praying for God, Lord. But in other case, I am doing my regular job and trying to do my 12 to 16 rounds every day. But my concentration is not that good level which my dad is having in his farm. So what I always feel saw that satisfaction on his face was much better than for devotion than what I have.
Okay,
With me.
very good. Very good example. You are absolutely correct. That yes, you are okay. And Tushar Prabhu, don't beat yourself up. You are actually doing very good of trying to chant so many rounds every day. You are on the path. So don't beat yourself up.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And connect with me offline. You are supposed to connect with me. Okay, very good. Somebody else wants to explain or ask? Yeah, I still got lots of silence. I don't know what that means. Okay. So I request all of you, okay, Parth and Pratush Prabhus.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I had a question regarding the first portion, that is inaction in action. In the example of soldiers killing enemies in war, which is authorized by the government, that basically means there is no like result because there's an authority figure who is granting validation. It's just a clarification, it's not a question.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. Correct. Your understanding is correct. That authority is giving you to act properly.
Okay, thank you.
Right now, the government is not proper. That's a different story. But at least even if the government is not proper, the soldier is killing on behalf of a government. The soldier does not get any bad credit. Okay. I request all of you to please tolerate for a few extra minutes so that I can summarize. We are almost at 11:45 a.m. here in Toronto time, but please tolerate so that I can just summarize what all we have discussed. So in summary, the karma discussion in brief, Krishna says in 4.16, 17 and 18 that karma is very difficult to understand. Our tiny brains are not capable to understand everything about karma. Only Krishna knows how karma works. For us to understand karma, Krishna has said, understand three things from scriptures. What is karma? Means pious activities, means actions according to scriptures. Second, what is vikarma? Means impious activities, means actions which are against scriptures. And third is akarma. Akarma is action that generates no reaction, basically means devotional service. So I've shown you some slides and I will show the slides again. That karma does not spare anyone. In brief, the laws of material nature and the laws of karma are very, very stringent. Karma does not spare anyone. Laws of karma are the extension of the justice system that we have in the material world. I gave you an example that if all of us do one activity that generates exact same result, whether good or bad, right now, one of us gets the reaction now, second one of us can get the reaction in the next life, third one of us get the reaction few lives down the road. No one knows, only Krishna knows this. There are multiple dimensional chart to decide the next life, in which universe, which planet, which country, which family, which colleagues we all get associated with. Meaning there is our individual karma, then there is a group karma that determines our family, colleagues, country, etc. There are many dimensions, means there are many factors that determine our next life. That determine our next life will be in which bodily form. The big karma bucket, I described that all of us have infinite red and green M&Ms sitting in the big karma bucket, versus the current life is the small cup that Krishna picks up the scoop from the red and green M&Ms and puts in a cup, is the destiny of our current life. Destiny does not mean we are programmed robots. Rather, destiny is like a weather forecast. What can you do with the weather forecast? You cannot change. The answer is that you cannot change the weather forecast. You cannot change destiny. Meaning the circumstances we face in our life, they are destined and we cannot change, just as you cannot change the weather forecast. But destiny does not determine our actions. If it is going to be cold and snow, I have to use my free will to put on a jacket and I will be protected. Sorry. Or if I use my free will to go out in the cold and snow without a jacket, well, then I will get sick. Meaning, we always have our free will. We read from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.37, the words in italics, statement about killing animals for tongue stage, that from the example understand that this mass shooting going on in the current life, that whosoever is the shooter or the terrorist was killed by these group of people in the previous life. In the current life, the shooter or the terrorist has the karmic credit to kill all those group of people who killed the shooter or the terrorist in the previous life. If this shooter or terrorist decides to kill all those people in the current life because he has the karmic credit, then this shooter will continue his cycle of birth and death. However, if this shooter or the terrorist, even though he has the karmic credit to kill all those group of people who had killed him in the previous life, but this shooter or the terrorist meets a pure devotee before he becomes the shooter or a terrorist, and from scripture decides to develop forgiveness quality and forgives all these group of people and does not kill them, then this person ends his cycle of birth and death. So all those who eat eggs and meat, realize that you will get killed or abused by the animal you killed for your tongue stays. If you look at karma from one current life's perspective, then it seems unfair that why are innocent people getting killed in mass shooting? But understand that karma continues from life after life. Karma can only end by surrendering to Krishna and or by doing devotional service. Example, in one of the previous life, Dhritarashtra had killed 100 newborn chicks of a bird, and this bird had cursed Dhritarashtra that Dhritarashtra will see the death of his 100 children. Dhritarashtra had to wait few lifetimes to accumulate enough pious credit to get 100 children. And later on, his bad karma got manifested that he saw the death of his 100 children. Another example to understand karma is cricket test match. Almost all of us are from India. So one team having a deficit of more than 200 runs has to follow on and come on to bat again when the first team did not bat for the second time. If you look just from the second innings of the test match, then it seems unfair that how come the first team already has more than 200 runs even when they did not bat. But when you understand from innings 1 and 2, then the second team does not complain that how come the first team already has 200 plus runs. Now, I already told you that karma is like an endless loop. So this you have on the screen, this is an endless loop that when a person leaves the body, he can take birth in any of the 8.4 million life forms. And you see human is also listed among animals because this human is simply doing material tasks, no spiritual activity, and living a life like an animal. But if you do devotional services, then you get a better human life and you can end the cycle of birth and death, and you can end this endless loop. To try to exhaust karma, to end your cycle of birth and death, it's not possible. Karma is an endless loop. Karma applies to humans. Karma does not apply to animals, meaning while humans exhaust their good or bad karma, humans create more good or bad karma, more reactions. While animals, they only exhaust their good or bad karma. When animals kill another animal for their tongue's taste, animals do not generate further good or bad karma. Good and bad karma do not offset each other. So bad karma is of course bad, but good karma is also bad because you have to take birth again to exhaust the good karma. Therefore, you should aim to always do akarma. Akarma means doing devotional service. Apply the law of karma for yourself very harshly by beating yourself up every time something bad happens to you, so that on a go forward basis, you don't do the bad things again. But for others, don't ever bring up that their karma is the cause of their misery. Rather, with others, you should follow and say, what is my dharma? My dharma is how can I help relieve the misery of this other person? Their past karma is between them and Krishna. The example to understand this of not bring up others' karma, but following what is my dharma, is a child crying in the middle of night. The mother does not say to the child, oh, this is your karma, what can I do? No, rather the mother does her dharma of taking care of her child. We have essentially covered one verse today, chapter 4, verse 16, 17, 18, which are essentially on the topic of karma. Understand that I have tried to explain and summarize the essence of karma topic in a nutshell from various hundreds and thousands of lectures. You are welcome to ask questions to me offline or anytime. I have a question for you all. I thank you all for tolerating 10-15 extra minutes. So I asked you this question earlier, that when bad karma manifests, what is my reaction? So here's my follow-up question to all of you. All of you try to answer. I have undivided attention on this. Very important to understand this question. How does bad karma manifest? quickly. Somebody? How does bad karma manifest?
Can be any hardship.
Okay. Okay, but how generally, how does it happen? Misery, disease, hardship, yes. Generally, how does bad karma happen? Somebody else, quickly.
Prabhuji, failures.
Okay, failures is a reaction. That is not a how bad karma manifests. So
When
generally, yeah, Prabhu, Chaitanya Prabhu, go ahead.
yeah, when sanctioned by Krishna.
Okay, Padma Kumar Prabhu has the correct answer, by other person. Do you all agree that generally bad karma happens when somebody else does the bad karma to me? Do you all agree what you have on the screen? Yes, no? Silence.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so when bad karma manifests, my default reaction is, why is this happening to me? I become angry on the other person. That some other person who is acting as an instrument to manifest my own bad karma is of course bad, is hurtful. You all agree, I don't need to ask it. My question to all of you is, all of you try to answer in relation to this discussion on karma. What is more hurtful than some other person acting as an instrument to manifest my own bad karma? Everybody understands the question and everybody please answer. So what did I say? That when somebody else is the cause of manifesting my bad karma, I become angry and I become angry on the other person. This relation, my question is, what is more hurtful than some other person acting as an instrument to manifest my own bad karma? Everybody quickly answer.
Prabhuji, if we become a cause to manifest someone else's karma, that will be more hurtful.
Very good. Somebody else wants to answer?
Prabhuji, maybe the guilt of our mistakes, past mistakes.
Yeah, very good, Gil. Yeah. So Chaitanya Prabhu got the absolute bang to the point, correct answer. That when I realize that I have been an instrument to manifest someone else's bad karma, oh, that is very hurtful. This is more hurtful than if someone else is the instrument to manifest my own bad karma. So you might have already acted as an instrument to hurt someone, just not realized. When you realize this, oh, that is very, very hurtful. Exactly what Nishan Prabhu was saying, the guilt, that is very hurtful. Krishna protects by the protect way. I did not give you the acronym for this. I'll give you now that Krishna protects. The meaning of the acronym protect is P stands for personally. Krishna protects personally. R for representative. Krishna sends his representative. O is for omnipotence. That how Krishna became the sari of Draupadi. T is for teachings. E is for empower. Just as Krishna empowered Arjuna. Teaching is from scriptures and acharyas. C is a combination of all of these, and T is by time. So just as Krishna protect by all these means of the protect acronym, similarly, the punishment also happens the same way, that Krishna uses us to punish others. When I realize that I have been an instrument to manifest someone else's bad karma, this is more hurtful than if someone else is an instrument to manifest my own bad karma. I request you all to judge for yourself whether you have done something wrong to someone. As a devotee, we have to develop that soft-heartedness. This is your test. If you have done something wrong and you don't feel bad, this means your japa, your devotional service is not penetrating through your heart. Your heart is still steel framed. Steel framed heart is described in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.24. So what is the solution? The solution is to do more devotional service in association with advanced devotees and learn from them. I thank you all for tolerating 15 plus extra minutes. I will send Prabhupada lecture in the homework. Please listen, please read all the purports. We will stop here. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.